Has scripted history in the global aviation sector, with Air India inking a deal to acquire 470 aircraft from Boeing and Airbus. The Tata Group's bid to buy 250 Airbuses is the world's largest aviation deal in history. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hailed the landmark deal, and as part of its historic expansion, Air India will also purchase 220 planes from Boeing. The agreement shows the deepening ties between India and the United States, and it's also going to help boost employment opportunities in both the countries. While making this announcement, US President Joe Biden highlighted that this is Boeing's third biggest sale of all time. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron has also expressed his commitment to building strong ties not only in the aerospace sector but also in other avenues.
निकट भविष्य में भारत एविएशन सेक्टर में विश्व का तीसरा सबसे बड़ा मार्केट बनने जा रहा है। कई आकलनों के अनुसार भारत को अगले 15 वर्षों में 2000 से अधिक विमानों की आवश्यकता होगी। आज की ऐतिहासिक घोषणा इस बढ़ती मांग को पूरा करने में सहायक होगी। भारत की मेक इन इंडिया, मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड विजन के तहत एरोस्पेस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में अनेक नए अवसर खुल रहे हैं।
The first one is that Airbus is contributing to the outstanding development of India, and the new 250 aircrafts which will be delivered to Air India will be one more step in this direction. There is a deep commitment in France to provide the state-of-the-art, the most efficient technologies available to India, and to be part of your Made in India strategy. French government has put all my energy for the last 6 years to reinvigorate French industry. And beyond aviation, we are building a new ambition in the sectors of nuclear energy, microchips, space, cyber, biotech, to mention a few of them.
CNN News 18's Ridhima Bhatnagar is joining us live on this story to give us more details. Ridhima, can you tell us more about this mega deal?
Right. So as we've been pointing out that this is a historic deal on multiple levels. This is a deal that is being inked with Air India and Airbus as part of the first deal, and Air India and Boeing as part of the second deal. So first, let's break down what is this deal between Air India as well as Airbus. Remember, this is as part of the expansion, also as part of the revival plan under Tata Sons. So let's first talk about Airbus. Under that, the deal that is being inked is that they're going to be buying about 250 aircrafts. How do we break that 250 aircrafts? About 40 of them are wide-body aircrafts and about 210 of them are narrow-bodied aircrafts. Now, this is going to be step one as part of revival of Air India is concerned, and this is what we heard from the management of Airbus as well. This, of course, also talks largely as far as ties between India and France is concerned, and this is what we heard in the sound bites by Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's talk about the second part of this deal, which is with Boeing. And this is also an equally significant one, which is also over 200 aircraft. So if you put both the deals together, it's close to 470 aircrafts. As far as Boeing is concerned, this is a deal that we saw the release of the White House that was put out as well. This is significant because this amounts to almost $34 billion and has the potential to go up as well. But it's not just about the aircrafts. It's once again as far as the significance of ties between both the countries. And this is something that was highlighted by President Joe Biden. He also went on to say that even if you look at how this will impact the economy, this will help almost 1 million jobs in America alone. And as I said, it has the potential to go up as well. So as far as Boeing is concerned, that deal stands at about $34 billion, and that will have over 200 aircrafts. The deal with Airbus will have about 250. So put together, almost 470 aircraft is what we are looking at. As we said, this is one of the largest aviation deals that we're looking at in the history of aviation.
Ridhima, also, how is this deal going to impact the ties between India and United States?
Oh, absolutely. As I pointed out, and this was something that was highlighted by US President Joe Biden as well. Once he was talking about why the significance of this deal was important, was not just as far as the revival of the aviation sector or specifically revival and expansion of Air India is concerned, but this has also gone through because of the deepening ties between both the leaders and the kind of trust that we have between India and United States. And I'm in fact just quoting from what US President Joe Biden said. He said that this purchase will support over 1 million American jobs across 44 states, and it will not even require a 4-year college degree. But as far as the ties between both the countries is concerned, this is again what US President Joe Biden said, and I'm quoting. He said, this announcement also reflects the strength of the US-India economic partnership. Together with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I look forward to deepening our partnership even further as we continue to confront shared global challenges, creating a more secure and prosperous future for all our citizens. So this is Amrit Kal, as we've been saying, and this is a new chapter because, if you go back to the 70s or even the 60s, it was almost unimaginable to see or even envision a deal like this. And today we're awaiting the order of almost 470 aircrafts, about 250 from Airbus and over 200 from Boeing. So it also speaks a lot as to where India is positioned as far as the global map is concerned, and how Prime Minister Modi also is seen as a leader and the power vision that he has for the country at large.
Ridhima, also after this landmark deal, what impact will it have on the global front? Like, this is a historic deal. How will now the world now see India as?
As I was pointing out, Anjali, this is significant, right? It's not just the aviation sector that is closely watching deals like this, but also on the global map. As I said, if you go back about 40 to 50 years, a deal like this was unimaginable. And that is why yesterday was seen as a landmark day. It was seen as one of the biggest deals in aviation history. We don't remember the last time we spoke about a bulk order of over 450 aircrafts. And once again, going back at the cost of sounding repetitive, even if you heard that video conferencing and we put out those sound bites as well, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, said exactly this. He called Narendra Modi his friend Narendra. It spoke significantly about the friendship between both the countries and where the ties between both the countries stand. Similarly, what we heard from US President Joe Biden as well, the push continues to come because of the ties and the relations that India enjoys with all these countries separately. So as we said, going forward, of course, this will be a big job creating factor. This will help both countries economically as well. And on the larger space, this will help as far as the revival of Air India is concerned,
Right.
which, as you would remember, and as our viewers would remember, ever since it's come under the wings of the Tata Sons, they've had a new plan, they've had a new vision. And as part of this revival and vision, these deals and the intent of buying these aircrafts is very, very important.
Right, Ridhima. Please stay with us. We have former Air India Executive Director Jitendra Bhargava joining us on this story. Sir, good morning. Sir, how do you see this landmark deal that Air India has done with buying Boeing aircraft?
It's a most welcome decision because if Air India was disinvested by the government, it was primarily to ensure that Air India survived as a major airline. Now, what Tatas have done is to place a huge order which catapults itself to amongst the mega carriers in the world. You very rightly stated that we have never seen an airline placing an order for 470 aircraft, and the order being hailed by no less than the President of the United States, President of France, and including the Indian Prime Minister, who was present at the ceremony when they announced the Airbus deal of 250 aircraft. Now, what it would do for Air India is that it will allow Air India to expand its network very aggressively. Yeah. Something that Air India failed in recent years because under government ownership, it was starved of funds. So everybody would welcome it. It not only helps Indian aviation, Air India, but it will also help India's pride, perception, commitment, and will basically indicate to the world that India has arrived on the aviation scene globally.
Right. Jitendra said Ridhima here. I agree with you. And that's why I said it's almost unimaginable if you go back about 30 to 40 years to hear about a deal which has a bulk order of about 400, 450, or even 470 aircrafts. As you rightly pointed out, when Tata Sons had announced their bid as far as Air India is concerned, one of the crucial points that most experts had discussed was what will this do to network, to connectivity, as far as positioning of Air India vis-a-vis the other carriers. With this buy, let's first talk about the Airbus. In that, we're understanding the breakup is about 40 of them are wide body, and the other are narrow body jets. How do you see the Airbus Air India deal positioning Air India going forward? And then we'll talk about the Boeing one as well.
Yeah, there are 40 A350 being ordered. This will be for long-haul operations to Europe and United States. And as we all know, that there's a huge amount of Indian diaspora in United States who regularly travel between India. Something that India has missed out, and the gain was to the Gulf carriers and Southeast Asian carriers who were funneling the Indian traffic onto their hubs and then taking them to the United States and Europe. So this will plug, and it will be ensured that now the harnessing of India's growth story is done by an Indian carrier. As regarding the domestic market, with the large number of orders, because I'm not splitting the aircraft deal between Airbus and Boeing, the reality is there are 400 aircraft which are narrow-bodied aircraft which can fly within India and to the Gulf and Southeast Asian destinations. And there are 70 aircraft which are long-haul aircraft for Europe and United States. So Indigo can start foreseeing competition on hand because it has so far had an easy ride with about 55-57% market share in the domestic market. So overall, if you look at it, huge order with a clear vision that Tata will expand Air India's network. And if we can recall, some months ago they had said they're targeting 30% of the domestic market share over a 5-year period. In my opinion, they probably had a rethink and they may prepone the attainment of the target of 30% market share of the domestic market.
All right, Ridhima and Mr. Bhargava, thank you for giving us all those details. And we have some breaking news coming in.